Hey y'all, today I'm going to be showing you guys a flip through of History Quest from Pandia Press. Let's get into it. Welcome back to my channel. I'm Kayla Perez, a second generation homeschool mom to 2 girls, and this is Ode to Abode. If this is your first time here, I'm so happy you made it over here. This is a place where I love to share about home education, homemaking, and parenthood. And if you love those things too, I hope you'll consider clicking that subscribe button. Today, I'm going to be showing you a flip through of some brand new curriculum that we're going to be starting in the upcoming school year. This is History Quest by Pandia Press. So let's turn this camera around and look at the inside of this curriculum. The basic parts of the curriculum are going to be your study guide and then your reader. So History Quest, they have a few different ones that cover different time periods. I'm showing you the early times one, which is going to cover prehistory to the 8th century CE. This reader is basically what you're going to be reading as a read aloud to your kids to take them through all of these time periods in a narration style. Okay? So we will take a closer look at this in just a moment. This is your study guide, which is basically going to tell you what to do. It's going to give you a plan for each week. And as you can see, it includes hands-on activities, literature, geography, and writing activities. This curriculum is designed for elementary age children, and you can combine age groups and do this in a group setting, which is one of my favorite things about this curriculum. Okay, so let's take a look in the study guide. So you have some really useful instructions. It basically explains everything. Every little question you could have is answered for you here. History travel log pages, which they include one for you to make copies of in the back of this study guide, and I will show that to you. And then it talks about hygge history. Basically, that's the style that they're going for with this curriculum, is a nice, cozy, cuddly kind of atmosphere. It does talk about implementing this curriculum with a child with special needs or a disability. It talks about how to implement this curriculum if you're covering it with different age groups. And then you have your required book list. The 2 books that are going to be required for this curriculum are going to be your main reader again, and then your Encyclopedia of World History. So it recommends the one from Usborne, which I have right here. Another book that I feel would work just as well is this one by DK, History Year by Year. The reason being that I feel like these 2 cover very similarly all the same information. I'm going to give you a quick glimpse at this. Definitely goes into more detail as far as the theory of evolution. And it also has more like cartoony hand-drawn illustrations. Definitely more geared to like a younger crowd. Whereas the DK one kind of briefly touches on the theory of evolution. It's not as much detail as the other one. And it does have a lot more like photographs. They're going to cover the same material. So really up to you which one you want to choose. History Quest does recommend the Usborne one, but I have both on hand just because I like certain aspects of both of them, and I feel like they're pretty interchangeable. So in addition to the required book list, there is going to be some extra literature recommended that is optional. And then on the next page, you'll have your supply list. This is your master supply list for the entire curriculum, all 27 weeks that they have laid out for you. Most of these are just household items that you're already going to have on hand, or items that you can easily get at your local grocery store. And then you're going to go right into the curriculum. So we have our introduction, which basically looks the same as all the other units. And then we go into Unit 1 through Unit 27. It's all in here for you. And basically each unit looks the same. So I'm just going to walk you through an example unit. So here, Unit 10, we're covering Assyria. So it'll give you kind of a quest for the week. So for instance, learn about this fierce group of people famous for their iron weapons, horses and chariots, and their library. It's going to give you your resources and materials that are necessary. And then it does give you some supplies for your hands-on activity. Each unit is going to have a hands-on activity, and each unit is meant to be for 1 week. They give you a 5-day schedule of how to cover each unit. I feel like this curriculum is super adaptable and flexible. We don't do history 5 days a week. If you did stick to this and do history 5 days a week, you're still looking at really short lessons. You could also easily make each of these units longer than a week by diving deeper into each place or time period. That would be totally up to you if you want to do more research. I mean, if you're studying Assyria or ancient Greece or Egypt, you could easily study that for like 2 weeks, 4 weeks, and just use this kind of as your spine and your jumping off point. Totally up to you. Each unit, they're going to give you your big ideas, your concepts, and your details. This is just kind of like your key points that you are looking to teach your child during this unit. And then they will lay out each day for you. So day 1 is always going to be your Discover Day, which is basically your reading day. You're going to read the assigned chapter from your reader book, and then you will read corresponding pages from your encyclopedia together. And then on day 2, it says read History Hop. The history hops are really fun. They're basically an extra chapter in here. So on day 1, it has you just reading chapter 10, which is just your initial narrative story about Assyria, and it's a few pages long. And then on day 2, it has you reading your history hop. Your history hop is basically a story about a fictional person who lived during this time period. And this will kind of give your kids a much better idea of what it was like to actually live in ancient Assyria, to see and hear all of the things that someone in that time period would hear and see and do. And then after you read your history hop, they want you to fill out your history travel log. Day 3, they have that set aside for your hands-on activity. Day 4, they call that demonstrate. This is where the writing comes in. So they're going to have narration, copy work, and dictation activities for you here. Have everything laid out for you as far as copy work and dictation. Obviously, you might not need to use this aspect of this curriculum, and that's why I say that this is a very flexible and adaptable schedule, because that's all they have for day 4. So you could easily combine these into one day and then do a hands-on activity and call it a day. Or you could stretch this out over 2 weeks or even longer if you want to do more research and dive in. Day 5 is the day that they have set aside for enriching, or basically extra research, extra reading, a lot of optional things. They just have a day set aside for that each week. So let me show you what the travel log is. So in the back of your study guide, you actually have a student notebook. All the pages are perforated, so you could just tear out this chunk of the study guide if you wanted to put it in a separate binder for your student, or you could make copies of these pages if you have multiple children. Basically, it's just an activity notebook to follow along with the curriculum. And so here's your travel log page. Now, as far as I can tell, they only give you one of these. So you would need to make copies of these for each unit. But your travel log, basically your child would fill out, I traveled to where, during what year, and then they can put an illustration in this bottom section. The illustrations are all included unless they would like to draw their own. There are lots of illustrations for them to cut, paste, and then color if they desire that they can add to their travel log. And then on the back of the travel log, we have some more writing prompts for them. And then after the travel log and all of the illustrations, we have some maps. These are all numbered, and so some units will have map pages to do. The unit that I just showed you on Assyria did not have map work assigned to it, but a lot of the units do. And all of those pages are here for you, perforated, ready to tear out. We also have some additional activities back here that, of course, are just going to be for various units. And that is it for there. And then if you are looking for answer keys for your maps, that has been included as well in the appendix right in front of the student pages. We also have a reading list here that you can fill out if you decide to do any of this extra reading. And then here is your answer key for the maps. And again, this is a 27 unit long curriculum, which they basically have laid out like 27 weeks. But again, very flexible. You could adapt that to be 36 weeks or longer. It'll definitely depend on the interest level and the ages of your children. Now, one more quick note about this is it is a secular curriculum. So specifically in the introduction, which is basically your first unit if you want to count it, it's introducing the concept of history, and it does touch on evolution in this introduction. If you're a religious person, you could adopt this very easily using your own resources. You could skip this altogether, but I just did want to mention that. So that is a look at History Quest Early Times. All right, y'all, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please consider giving it a thumbs up, sharing, and I would also love to hear from you in the comments. What curricula are you using for history this year, and what grade levels or specific subject of history are you planning on doing? This is our first year doing structured history, so I'm really excited to see what everybody's using for history. So definitely leave me a comment down below. If this curriculum looks like something that might be a good fit for your family, go ahead and check out the description box. This isn't sponsored, but I did go ahead and link Pandia Press and this specific curriculum just for your convenience down below. And of course, you'll also find some more information about me and some more videos that you might enjoy. So always go check out that description box. There's goodies in there. Thank y'all for spending a few minutes of your time with me, and I will see you in the next video.